the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Van, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark. Got the scoop, faster than a sprint, calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite.
Hey, how are you? Good morning. Didn't want to interrupt the song. It is the Wednesday edition of the program. Hope you're well, wherever you might be. Hit us up in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room or on the professional door text line, whatever may be on your mind. Coming up, Kion Brown will join us. We got a lot of college hoops to talk about. Hubert Davis was fired last night as the head basketball coach at North Carolina. Not surprising. I received a text shortly after they were defeated from a coach. That Hubert's going to be replaced, and it happened. So we'll find out exactly what they do. And Carolina is a definite top 3 blue blood of all time, so it's a very attractive job for just about any coach in the country. So we'll talk about all that and get his take on the Sweet 16. Damien Sordelett joins us. We'll talk about the media opportunities and what came out of that. After practice yesterday over in Blacksburg, David Teel joins us, the Hall of Famer. He was covering Virginia and the ACC in the tournament. We'll get his take on Hubert Davis and everything else. And Matt Roan, Director of Athletics at James Madison, scheduled to join us. So there you go. So hit us up. How's everybody doing this morning? Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Prometheus. Hello, T-Bird. What's up, Vic? Good morning. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel wherever you might be. So, the Hubert Davis thing happened last night. Not a major surprise. Hubert's out. His statement was, tonight I was let go by the University of North Carolina. My desire was to continue to coach here. This opportunity has truly been a blessing. My goal is to coach again in the very near future. And it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out with him and how other schools might view him. But not surprising in any way, shape, or form that this happened. I'm not saying it was necessarily the right thing long term. I don't know. There seemed to be some uneasiness around Hubert Davis. You know, we opened up the season, we being Radford down there, and you could sense a little uneasiness about fans that sat around near us. There was a lot of pressure on this season with all the money that they had spent on the roster, well over $20 million for their roster. So the record is fine. There was a lot of stigmas there with him. Of course, like I said, I don't think they ever got over being the first number 1 in the preseason not to make the tournament. But Carolina's a different place. It's tough. I don't think he got along with administration there. Just reading between the lines, some of the reactions that we got in the 2 times we played them while he was the head coach. So I think there's a lot more. There's always a lot more behind the scenes, a lot more animosity that's reported. Same thing with, James Franklin and Penn State. You hear certain things, but you don't ever know exactly, what's going on. But it kind of felt like there was some tension down there. I don't know. It just felt a little odd going into the season. So there we have it. And we'll get Keon's take on all that. But, he doesn't have to worry about anything financially, clearly, but he wants to coach again. And I think he may get an opportunity. Don't know what level, don't know where. Don't know whether there'll be a power school or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see how things shake out after the Sweet 16. From Ryan Bry's desk, where he is a deep study in elder law, to Wayne's World, where he is the best damn claims adjuster allowed by Virginia law. BDST is the Sasquatch. Real deal. I like the way Morris is now singling out individual members of our chat. What's up, Chris? How are you doing? Good morning. That's funny. I don't think there are any Cinderella teams anymore, Vic. Not left in the Sweet 16 anyway. Texas doesn't count because they're the richest athletic department in the country. They never should have been an 11 seed. So I don't think there really is. A Cinderella left. Not anymore. For the second straight year. Which I believe is a very negative trend as we head into the second weekend. You're starting tomorrow. But your thoughts. Hubert Davis is out. And again, we mentioned all this yesterday with Marva. She was hearing the same things I was. Like I said, I got a text. And when coaches tell you something, it happens. And apparently Davis was out telling people, yeah, I'm out of here. They're going to let me go. And he was right. And, North Carolina's got to get this right. They've already got the controversial stuff going on with Belichick and that circus. So they better make sure that they get this right. Todd Golden's name seems to be leading all the lists, and maybe it will be him. I don't know. Nate Oates is another guy. Yeah, that was probably the only way, Chris. You're probably right. Elite Eight. But not only losing in the first round, but the manner in which, and Marva mentioned this yesterday, the manner in which they lost, 19-point lead in the second half. You don't know whether it's true, but I'd heard there was a lot of problems with him and Caleb Wilson. Yeah, Texas has more money in their foundation than any other public university. Exactly. So they're not a Cinderella. I mean, it's seeding aside, they're not a Cinderella at all. At all. Which team has impressed me the most so far in the tournament? Who has impressed me the most so far in the tournament? Probably Arizona. Arizona's looked dominant to me. I mean, they're not 100% healthy, but Arizona's looked really, really good. Duke's shaky. St. John's might get them next round. Michigan State's looked really good, too. Michigan State's looked solid. We'll see. Chris says he was unrelatable to many recruits. Yeah. Here was my only personal, I guess you could say, experience. The first year we went down there from Radford perspective, and we always have a pregame interview segment with the opposing coach. And first year, he did it. He was fine. So we had it set up to do it this year. And then on the way down, as we get ready to pull into the Smith Center, I get a text from their SID. Hubert now says he won't have time to do the interview. So, okay, it is what it is. I just always appreciate coaches who take the time to talk to us. So the SID gets up there, we set up, and you guys got everything you need, blah, blah, blah. He goes, hey, man, I'm sorry about Hubert. He goes, that's just the way he is. And it was just a casual little interaction, but now you think about that and how the department may have viewed him, when you see this actually happen. So it made me think. I was thinking about that this morning. I wonder if that's just kind of the vibe that he created down there. But the record was impressive. I put the post on our Facebook page. Let me get the record right here. I don't want to tell everybody the wrong thing here. He was 125-54, and Carolina in his first year reached the national title game, of course, with that great run. So it was more about the regular season, more than just the regular season record. I think there are just things we don't know about, and there's always a lot of scrutiny that goes on from people outside the buildings. It just kind of felt like he wasn't a fit there anymore. And, I'm going to use the parallel of James Franklin, right? There were a lot of people that were criticizing Penn State. Well, that was an untenable relationship anymore. Franklin and Penn State was an untenable situation. It wasn't going to work, right? And so they made the choice. They're happy. He's happy here in Blacksburg. You just don't know all the ins and outs and things that happen within a department. Because anybody would look at the basic record of Hubert Davis and you'd say, wow, why would you fire that guy? Well, it's not always about that. Did donors get involved? Probably so. North Carolina, I mean, you've got 5 blue bloods in college basketball that operate at a different level, right? Or, I mean, UCLA is forever a top 5 blue blood, but they haven't been a factor in recent years under Cronin. But Kentucky, Duke, Carolina, and Kansas, UCLA, there's your 5 blue bloods traditionally in college basketball. And Carolina may be amongst the bluest of the bloodiest. It's just, what's ironic about all those teams have blue, by the way. Whoa. All those top 5 blue bloods all have blue, right? Kansas, Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, UCLA. Wow. That'll blow your mind. I mean, you think about it. Did anybody see that one coming?
Oh my. Oh no. Oh no. That was out of nowhere.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But things get covered up. Winning does. He does. Except, at Penn State, because James Franklin won there, and that wasn't enough. Well, he was working. Yeah, that's right. He was working despite everything that was going on. Correct. And everybody knew, too, Prometheus, It's all of a sudden didn't just pop up on his social media and all that, right? They even beat Duke this year, and that wasn't enough to save him. And TLB's right. I mean, places like that, the big money donors are pulling the string. Same thing at Penn State. And that's what I'd heard about Franklin from Big Ten guy. He had angered a lot of people around the program that supported the program the most. And so when they get going after, especially a relatively new AD, they don't get ignored because they're the ones giving the money. Let's just say it the way it is. It's not good for college athletics. And again, not a whole lot's good right now for college athletics. Yeah, Indiana is. They are. I think you could get top 10 blue bloods. Indiana's definitely in there. You're right, Troy. No question. No question. Thank you, Morris. Appreciate that. So I don't know. But it felt inevitable. When I got the text from the source and coach, I knew it was going to happen because this coach is always on the money. I was like, oh, wow. So that's going to happen down in Carolina. Now I'm interested to see about the search. Will it be Todd Golden? And people, would he leave Florida? Yeah, sure. Why not? Florida. I know Florida's won, 3 national titles in the last 20 years? But they're forever going to be a football school, and you got a chance to go to North Carolina. So, yeah, he would leave Florida for North Carolina. Nate Oates would leave Alabama. They would leave the SEC for North Carolina. So, yeah, that job is one of the top 3 jobs in the country. No question about it. And I think they'll have all sorts of folks wanting to get involved, and we'll see which way they go. And you might see a program that's coaching right now in the Sweet 16 lose its coach. If you don't think those conversations are happening now, I don't know what to tell you. They will. They do. So we'll get Keon's thoughts on all this and find out what North Carolina does. I mean, the first time we interviewed him, he seemed like a pretty good dude. I'm just going on my own interactions. It was strange to get a call that late that he wasn't going to do the interview this past year. I mean, I don't take it personally. It is what it is. But like I said, the reaction when we got up there, well, that's just Hubert. It's not you guys. You know? That's a great question, Prometheus. Well, you know what? Let's try to answer. That's a great question. I'm going to do history of North Carolina head basketball coaches. I mean, yeah. When's the last time they have not had a Carolina guy be the coach? Because you had Roy, then you had Dean and Roy, Frank McGuire back, 53 to 61, then Hubert, Bill Guthridge, Carolina guy, Matt Doherty, Carolina guy. No one in the last 100 years, Prometheus, maybe? I mean, the way it looks. So there you go. Your point's well taken. And Mike Ashley will chime in on this on Friday. But, yeah, it's always been a Carolina guy. I mean, nothing here in the recent history. Yeah. I mean, you got to go way back. Dean Smith came on in 1962. Frank McGuire coached until 61. I mean, you're going back, man. You're going back. So maybe they do. Maybe they start a new trend. Go get someone outside the family. Never go outside the family. Because I don't think there's anyone out there, is there? Like, what is Todd Golden? Does Todd Golden have a connection to Carolina? Because he's the name that I see everywhere. Todd Golden's going to be the guy. Was he an assistant there or anything? I mean, I don't know the lineage of it. He's just being linked heavily there, considered the top target. No, I don't think he has. There you go. That would be an outside of the family hire if it's Todd Golden. I mean, whatever people think of him personally, he's done a really good job at Florida. And you don't get a chance to be the head coach at North Carolina very often. It's once in a lifetime. So we'll see if that happens. But, yeah, it feels like they're going to go get someone, and it may be somebody still coaching. I don't think Nate Oates is going to turn away anything that's connecting him there, even though his team's still playing. I don't think you're going to see Nate Oates turn away anything. He might do the – how you can look to see who the guy in the clubhouse is. Whenever you see them release a statement saying, well, I'm very dedicated to being at my school, and I appreciate all the speculation about my name being tied in with this school, but I love it here. That's when you know that guy's going to leave. This is my place. Exactly, Morris. They all would just take it, right? It's North Carolina. I mean, sorry. It's one of the crown jewels of the sport. Of course they're going to take it. Yeah, I read. I can't get over. Nah, Jerry Stackhouse would be a disaster. No. I keep reading all this stuff about capturing Bigfoot, man. I got to see this documentary because it's really got me depressed. It's really got me depressed. I want to thank the NRV Super Bowl, by the way. That's where whenever we work this out, we're going to have to figure out the weekend. We're going to have to just wait till after the season, man, for the meetup. We're going to plan the meetup when I'm done in May, June. I can't meet up during baseball season. I'm working every weekend for the next 2 months. So we'll do the meetup. Radford has played Carolina. Let's see. Wow, this is thinking back here. We've played them, I think, 5 times overall. I've called all 5 games. We played them in the NCAA tournament in 2009. I want to say 5 times overall. And I've called, let's see, let me make sure I get this right. Have I called them all? I've called them all. The famous story where I was in Roy Williams' office, myself and Neil, and he was late. He was with his grandchildren. And he comes in. And he gave us a water and changed his pants. Right? Right in front of us. Right? UNC should go hire a Duke guy. Why is Jerry Stackhouse? Why would he be? He was 70-92 at Vanderbilt. Never went to the NCAA tournament. My question to you is, why would he be a viable candidate? Just because he played there? We're talking about them getting away from that trap. And that's the kind of thing, that's why you want to get away from thinking you have to hire someone in the Carolina family. You would force Jerry Stackhouse. You tell me one Carolina fan that would raise their hand and go, yeah, bring him in as the head coach here. They were 28-60 in the SEC. His best season was 7 games over 500. He got fired in March of 2024, and that year they went 9-23. So, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Hey, what's up, Kion Brown? How are you?
Rick Watson, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, brother? Well, man, we're talking about Carolina's opening, man. It happened. Hubert Davis. What are they going to do? What should they do? If you were making the hire, what would you do?
Well, first of all, we need to start by saying who was ahead of this for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
My goodness. Golly. I was never a Hubert Davis guy.
You weren't.
Veteran viewers on this show know that.
You said it from day one. You did.
Ever since that national championship game. You're up 15 at halftime. You got David McCormick, who is the only front court player that's relevant on that Kansas team, has 3,000 the first half. You don't attack him in the second half, and he kills you in the second half. They come back and beat you. It's like ridiculous. After that, it was like, all right, I'm off. I can't anymore. Like Ray Charles can see the game plan to finish this game. Like, it truly was ridiculous. And then you mentioned it. They never got over that. They also never got over the fact that you're the only preseason number 1 to not make the tournament.
Correct.
You didn't make the play-in.
Right.
And then last year, we already knew they had, the athletic director who was a part of the NCAA committee that put those guys in the play-in. They beat San Diego State. Everybody's like, look, Carolina's supposed to be in the tournament. We knew it. Then they get blown out in the first round. You don't even count that play-in game for Carolina. Like, long overdue. He should have been gone, in my opinion, but it's over with. You got to win there. You can't be spotted 19 points with 13 or 12 minutes left against VCU and lose that game. The writing was on the wall right after that game, and you can see it in his face. He knew what it was. But if I'm Carolina, I mentioned it in the comments yesterday. You got to go outside of the family. You have to.
Have to.
Because if you keep it in the family, who do you go with?
I don't know. Somebody just brought up Stackhouse.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh.
Chris just brought up Stackhouse.
I mean, that Vanderbilt program, he left it dead. Mark Byington is the reason why Vanderbilt is relevant in basketball.
That's right. He destroyed Vanderbilt basketball. Stackhouse destroyed Vanderbilt basketball.
Absolutely. Now, who I'm going with, I'll let you know right now. There's a name that's out there that I don't think will be the coach, but he's like a dark horse. That's Billy Donovan. And the reason why I don't think Billy Donovan is going to take it is because the difference of college basketball and what it was 12 years ago when he was coaching and what it is now, it's a completely different thing. And that's why you see the Roy Williams and the Coach K's and the Leonard Hamiltons and all of these guys just abruptly ending their careers because it's just too different. I don't think Coach Donovan will be used to what's going on now in college basketball. It's a whole nother world than when he was winning at Florida. But the guy who I'm going to go get is down in Alabama, Nate Oates.
I agree with that.
That's who I'm getting. I'm going right to him. I don't care how much that buyout is. I'm going. And I know for him, his buyout lessons on April 1st.
It's like $10 million. Yeah, it's not. I know that's a lot of money, but for Carolina, that's not a lot of money. Not a lot of money.
You got to. You have to. I know they're talking about Otzelberger from Iowa State. He's a name that you're going to be hearing. Todd Golden, you mentioned him earlier. Mark Byington, who we just mentioned in Vanderbilt. All of those names will be mentioned. You'll be seeing a lot of that. But I am going after Nate Oates. A beautiful brand of basketball. It's not boring. Great offense. They have a saying, the defense is always wrong, meaning they have something for everything defensively. I mean, if you're Carolina, just go to Alabama, get him. He's going to leave Alabama for one of the top 3 jobs in college basketball. He's a proven winner, excellent recruiter. He's going to keep those fans engaged.
He will.
I mean, I think it's the perfect fit. That's who
I do too. I do too. And he's done a great job at Alabama. And it feels like to me, you and I are thinking the same way. That was the first name I thought would be, and I talked to other coaches, they thought he'd be the perfect personality fit for that. And that's key for a job like that.
I think so, man. I think so. He's made Alabama basketball relevant again, and he's going to make Carolina basketball, even though it's Carolina basketball, that brand is always going to be quote unquote relevant, but he'll make it really relevant again to the point where they want to be. Hubert Davis made it relevant for all of the wrong reasons. He'll do it for all of the right reasons because he knows how to navigate in this landscape of college basketball.
You know, and I was tying in just the reaction I got from their people down there. Like, they almost kind of were like, yeah, it's Hubert. We have to deal with Hubert. You know, I'm like, now, so you hear, but you think about those things, and then you're like, well, I can see why they were happy to see him go.
And I hate hearing stories like that. I really do. Like you just told the story about the second time this year when you play UNC. I was there with you the first time, and it was, you know, like you said, it was great. But this past year, when a guy just pretty much brushes you off like that, I can't stand it because you think you're bigger than, you know, what college basketball is supposed to be about.
Yeah,
it's about helping the Radfords and helping the smaller schools. Taking 5 minutes out of your day won't hurt anything.
I know.
I promise you.
It was just like, and I told him 5 minutes. That's all we need. 3 questions, we're done. Oh yeah, he'll do it. He's fine. He's good. He said he's good to go. Oh, hey, Rick, by the way, coach said he can't do the interview now. Okay.
For me, my thought process is he thinks he's bigger than what college basketball is. He really does. And like, I know a lot of people down there who have told me a lot of stories about him, and I'll trust them because I know those guys, whether it's from Fork Union or my time, you know, from Radford in college. Those guys, you know, say he's one way behind the scenes, and I'm not really a fan of people like that. I'll just leave it at
that. 100%. And then there's scuttlebutt. I've heard from people around that he and Wilson did not get along at all. And maybe that, you know, so I don't know. Who knows? But now search will be on, and I'm with you. I don't think we'll hear much about it until a couple teams probably stop playing in the Sweet 16. And,
man. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be for sure.
Well, they better get it right. They blew the football hire, so they better get this one right.
Well, I think what I like about the ADs at North Carolina is that they don't have ties to the family. That's what I like about it. That new AD is from NASCAR, I think it is. Like he was one
Yeah,
of the
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think
yeah.
so.
So now it's got to be all about winning. It can't be about pleasing the fans at UNC anymore. Priority number one should be winning. And that, if you got to go outside of the Dean Smith family, do it. There's a guy in Alabama that will make sure you are where you need to be, competitive again in the ACC, competitive again in the tournament.
100%. 100%. Well, let's go to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Second straight year, man. We're basically chalk.
Okay.
We're basically chalk. I mean, we had great moments with High Point, but none of those teams advanced. I see a lot of posts. People are thinking this is going to be the way it is. Are we done? Are we done with the Cinderella story, making it far in the tournament?
I personally don't believe so. I mean, you got High Point who's 2 possessions away from winning that game. And what I want people to do for me is define Cinderella. Do you think it's only supposed to be a team out of the Horizon League, out of the SoCon, out of the NEC, out of the MAC? Is that what a Cinderella is?
Yeah, somebody doesn't have the money that a power like Texas is the richest athletic department in the country.
Right.
They're not a Cinderella.
Would
they were underseeded.
Would you have considered NC State a Cinderella a few years ago when they made their run to the Final Four, having to win 5 games in 5 days and then winning every single game leading up to the Final Four?
More of a Cinderella than Texas.
Yes, I would too. That's what I'm saying. You got to define it for me.
Yeah.
If you're High Point and you are one of the last 32 teams standing out of 365 Division I programs, to me, that's a Cinderella. To me, that's a success story. That's why I say we need to have a clear definition of what do you want to be. Does it have to be a team that's like one of the leagues I mentioned that makes it to the second weekend? Is that what we're going to say? Yeah. I say the round of the 32 is fine enough to me, especially when you're as competitive as High Point was. They were leading with 3 minutes left.
They should have won that game. They should have won that game, man.
Absolutely.
Well, I think so.
That's just how I look at it.
I think so, just because of VCU and George Mason and Loyola Chicago and fill in the blank.
Now, what I'm going to say about that to make an argument about people, how long ago was George Mason? 2006? How long ago was VCU?
10?
2011?
11 season?
Loyola. I mean, these things are rare. It's not like it happens every year. St. Peter's wasn't that long ago. What we saw from Fairleigh Dickinson beating Purdue wasn't that long ago. What we saw UVA losing to UMBC was 2019, 2018. I mean, these things are rare.
Yeah.
George Mason are rare. Loyola Chicago is rare. But you have seen 16 beat ones more frequently in this newer age of college basketball than you've seen it before. So
I'm trying to see if there's anybody that, but nobody really fits it to me. I mean, I know Texas has that 11 beside their name.
Yeah, no. This year I'm with you. Yeah. But I'm saying people are acting like it's been so long, like this Fairleigh Dickinson didn't just happen more recently, that upset versus Purdue, or even that St. Peter's run that happened. This stuff happened. I even think Preston made a Sweet 16 a couple of years ago, 2 years ago.
I hope not. But it's gonna change next year when they add teams. So, maybe.
Yeah, what you're gonna see next year, and I believe this is what's gonna happen. I think you're gonna have that play-in, the day for the play-in is gonna be an all-day thing.
I do too. I think it's a great point. 4 games each day.
That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. And because it's more money, more they can go out and sell, and that eases it into the 70s, and then the next jump will go from the 70s to 90.
Yeah, and even if you do that, there's still a way to make it entertaining. We talk about it all the time. If you win your conference tournament, put you automatically in the field, let those play-in teams or those last 4 in or those last whatever teams that are on the bubble compete for those play-in teams or those play-in games. That's what I do. I mean, you can still make it somewhat entertaining for the fans when you say, man, these little teams and these smaller schools have earned it, and these bigger schools are fighting for their lives, like in Auburn or whatever the case may be. Put those guys out on those play-in games, and they got the money to travel and have their fans be in a situation to where they'll be able to attend those games. Yeah. Make it fair. I guess that's what I guess.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, man.
Prometheus asks, has any Cinderella made the Final Four since pay for play? Well,
no.
It hasn't. No, it hasn't. It hasn't.
I guess the last Cinderella, quote unquote, to make the Final Four was it Loyola?
I think it was probably Loyola, right?
Or was it Florida Atlantic? Well, Dusty May.
Was that after Loyola? I don't know.
I think it was after Loyola.
Yeah,
because he just got to Michigan.
He just got in there. Yeah. So we'll go that order. We'll go Loyola, then Florida Atlantic was the last one. Yeah.
Then that year, San Diego State was the Final Four team as well.
Yeah.
We'll consider San Diego State.
Yeah, we'll consider them. We'll give them their flowers.
Yeah.
So who do you like on Thursday? Anything going to stand out on Thursday? Texas, Purdue. Is Texas going to keep this thing running? Clearly, there are no upsets now going forward. We're in the Sweet 16, right?
Yeah, I think Braden Smith leads Purdue. I think Matt Painter goes to another Elite Eight. I think Braden Smith is just too good of a point guard, man.
He's really good.
Just broke Bobby Hurley's, all-time assist record. They have Trey Kaufman-Wren. If they're on offensively, Purdue's going to be a tough out, which they are pretty much every single year. So they got what they need to make a Final Four run. Will they make a Final Four? We'll see. But I definitely think they'll make the Elite Eight.
Iowa, Nebraska's a 1-point spread. Boy, this game's basically even. Two rival schools, right? The big football rivalry goes to the basketball.
That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be one of the best games that you'll see in the next, 4 days or whatever. But Ben McCullough, what about a job he's done? Oh. Talk about that guy. He's one of the best postseason coaches in NCAA history.
He really is.
It's ridiculous.
He wins.
It's crazy how good that man is. And the job that he did versus Florida and, putting Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee and so much conflict on that last play in order for, I forget the guy's name, I think it's like Masechevich or whatever his name is, to knock down the three. Man, what a play. And then he's going at it with Todd Golden in the first half. I love that guy. Like, what a hire by Iowa.
Why did Todd Golden press? Mike Jones used to say it all the time.
Yeah.
A three beats you. And if you're pressing, they're going to get a three.
Yeah, man.
Why did they not just let them bring it down and have guys wait? Why did they not just let them make them shoot a two to send it to overtime? That was bad strategy.
And what you always see now since that Villanova shot versus North Carolina where Chris Jenkins hit it.
Yeah.
Is you always see that trail guy now. You always have to account for him. They'll just get it back, and he's the three. And the guy that made it was Pogares.
Right.
Pogares, the guy who knocked it down. But, man, Xavier Lee, Boogie Flan, miscommunication on defense because that was the result of the play that was drawn up by Ben McCollum.
Yeah.
Just were so confused. Just pitch it back, knock down the three. It's simple basketball, but Ben McCullough, my goodness, wherever he goes, he wins.
That's true.
Actually, Drake. He was at Drake for 1 year, made it to the round of 32. Iowa said McCaffrey's retiring. We got to go after him.
Great hire.
Into the second weekend.
Well, I wonder if he'll leave Iowa after 1 year. Somebody else going to jump on him. Arkansas, Arizona. Somebody asked earlier, chat. I think Arizona's looked the best to me. They just look like they're just going about their business. We're going to beat whoever's in front of us, right?
Yeah, they're probably the best team in college basketball right now. A-Cup Jr. is going to be a problem. Obviously, that kid is so good. But at the same time, Arizona's just got too much. They really do, man. I mean, it's, Koa Pete going to be one of the top picks in the draft. You got a guy like Jaden Bradley. You got guys like Braden Burris. They just got one of those teams that from the top to the bottom, everybody can come in and make an impact. So it's going to be tough for anybody to beat Arizona. And that's why I got those guys as my national champions. The West Coast hasn't had a champion, I think, in about 30 years. That's going to change this year, in my opinion. I don't think Duke's got enough. I think that St. John's might get them. We were talking about this last week. That is a scary game. Rick Pitino, you think these guys not going to be ready? They're going to be ready.
Oh, my gosh. Come on.
Now, that's the best game of the weekend.
Yeah, it is. It's going to have the most fan intrigue. There's no question. But
you also got UConn and Michigan State as well.
And I'll miss every bit of it.
We got some good games this weekend.
I'll miss all Friday games with baseball that night.
But,
Alabama, Michigan, there's the Nate Oates chance to be the number one. We'll see. Tennessee, Iowa State's probably, to me, the most I mean, I just don't care about either program, but it'll be a good game. But I don't really care,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. St. John's Duke will be the one. Can Duke overcome? What do you think Pitino's got? I mean, he's gonna. Who knows? He's seen everything. He's had to go against every type of team. I mean, something about him in the term. You're right. That if I'm Duke and their fans, I'm thinking, before I'm even thinking about a player on St. John's team, I'm going, oh Lord, Rick Pitino.
Yep, exactly. And you know they're going to play a physical brand of basketball like you haven't seen all season. Ejiofor is going to be on Cam Boozer. So Cam Boozer is going to play the most physically imposing player that he's seen all year. And as a freshman, we'll see how he responds to that. He's supposed to be, a top 3 pick? We'll see. Ejiofor is a man. Big East Player of the Year, Big East Defensive Player of the Year. And then you mentioned it, Rick Pitino, who's been there, done that, seen it all, not worried about the things, going to have his guys prepared. Both fan bases are going to be there. It's probably, a 4-hour trip from New York to D.C. and Durham. It's the same thing pretty much. So the crowd's going to be rocking. If you have tickets for that D.C. regional, you're in for two excellent games. Michigan State and UConn, Duke and St. John's. Could you ask for a better Sweet 16 matchup than those?
No. That's good. That's really good. Dan Hurley, Morris brings it up because I saw an article about it yesterday too. He's got the kind of ego. He wouldn't care about treading all over anybody's feelings. If Carolina came calling, could you see Dan Hurley pulling that trigger? Because that guy just goes by a completely different drum. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. I would love to have him. He's probably one of the top 2 or 3 coaches in the sport. Rick Pitino's my guy. That's the guy who I always say is the best in the sport. But I don't think he's leaving Stores. You just won back-to-back championships. You're in contention to make another Final Four run and potentially another championship this year. I don't think he leaves. I really don't see it. I'd say my prediction is that Nate Oates is going to be the guy. I really think he is. And I think Carolina fans should be happy with that.
I do too.
Yeah, man.
If I'm a Carolina fan, I'd be ecstatic if they got Nate Oates. I mean, there's no question about it.
But they're just so fixated with keeping it in the Dean Smith thing. I just don't get it.
I don't either.
And I never will get it. At the same time, the goal should be to win, not to make your alumni and the fan base happy.
Well, that's right. And Tech football found that out, right?
Yeah.
They said, hey, we got to go get somebody. Hey, we messed up with Fuente. Let's go get Brent Pry. He's kind of in the family. Well, that was an ultimate disaster. So you got to get over that because you don't have viable It'd be different if you had like 3 or 4 former Carolina guys who are successful college coaches.
Yes.
We don't.
Now you look at the Duke tree and you look at the Carolina tree. Duke has success everywhere in college basketball, like everywhere. I mean, it's like, but Carolina is just the opposite. So now it's time to move on. It's time to win. And if winning is your top priority, a guy like Nate Oates, a guy like Mark Byington, a guy like Todd Golden at another program is who you pursue, and people will take you seriously. It's that simple.
Prometheus says it's because it's worked for 100 years. Well,
has it worked for 100 years?
It worked with 2 guys.
Yeah.
It worked with Dean and it worked with Roy.
Yep.
Roy came from Kansas where he'd won, where that was a little different. It didn't work with Doherty. Didn't work with Bill Guthridge.
Yep.
Didn't work with Hubert Davis. Who am I leaving out?
That's it.
I mean, so it worked with 2 of those individuals that they tried to keep in family.
Yeah.
The rest, it did not work.
It did not work. And it didn't. It just didn't. I mean, it's embarrassing to be the preseason number 1. You got Armando Bacot and you got RJ Davis, who was the ACC player of the year. And you don't even make the tournament. I mean, I remember that year. I was all on the UNC train. Before that,
you were.
Every week we were talking. I'm like, UNC's coming. Armando Bacot, RJ Davis, the best duo in college basketball. You don't even make the tournament.
And that's when we started to realize that Armando Bacot was as soft as cottonelle.
Oh no, we're not gonna have no Armando Bacot. Not on this show.
You could have blown your nose on his jersey and been, wow, that's very soft.
No Armando Bacot.
Thanks, Armando.
That's the Richmond guy. That's my guy.
I know. Well, hey, you made a good living in North Carolina. Yeah, you can always say that.
Absolutely. Right? He's building hotels and everything now. He made his money.
So ultimately, if you had to reset your Final Four, is everybody still alive? I lost Florida.
I lost Florida. And it should have been Houston coming out of there. Houston's playing the Sweet 16 in Houston.
No, I had Houston. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Houston was in that region, I believe. I have Duke.
I'm going to lose Duke.
Okay.
I'm going to lose Duke this weekend, aren't I?
With Duke, you got the refs on your side too. The officials going to be there, so you might still be locked in with those guys.
Now they're still there. That's right. Zona, Michigan,
Florida was the other number one.
But I had Houston beating them in the Elite Eight. I've lost Florida next round. Is all.
And that's looking like to be a more safe pick that Houston won, and what they got. I mean, Kingston Flemings, he'll be a top pick. You got, Chris Clover, he's going to be another top pick. For me, it's if those freshmen can live up to the pressure of winning at this point. And I think that Houston's going to got this weekend. But the way they've been playing and the way their defense has traveled, they look like the toughest team as well as Arizona.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with Houston, and it's been a problem in the Kellen Sampson era, is their offense. They struggle to score sometimes. And when they get into those positions where they struggle to score, it gets tough for them to win. That's why they've lost a bit more than they have in the past this season. And they can get got. We saw what Arizona did to those guys in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, that defense is ferocious. That monster defense, that's what they call it, is crazy.
He's really good, isn't he? Kelvin Sampson.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
I wish he could have won it last year. I really do.
Great coach.
Yeah, man.
Just a great coach.
Only thing he's missing is that national championship.
I know. And I hope he's the guy that people, maybe he'll get one. I hope he gets one.
I hope so too, yeah. He gets one. Obviously, he's closer to the end than the beginning, so.
People speculating they'll go get a Duke guy. No. I don't know who's out there, Duke guys. I don't even know. I'm asking the question. Like, I don't know.
You can get the coach from Miami, Coach Lucas. He did a fine job turning that program.
He has.
They won a game. They made it to the round of 32.
Yeah, they did. He's not ready for that. He's not ready for that. Nah, they won't do that. That would cause so much.
Oh, no, they won't do that.
They will not do that. No,
they won't.
They will.
They won't. You're talking about trying to lose a fan base.
I was going to say, that AD be run out of town immediately.
Yeah.
Remember when Tech had Ricky Stokes?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
well,
man.
We'll see what happens, man. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I'm with you. The Patino, the Duke game, unfortunately, I'll miss it. But, it's going to be intriguing. It really, really is. It's going to be intriguing.
Yeah, that's the matchup I was waiting for, filling out that bracket. You knew it was coming. You knew it was inevitable.
I know.
Obviously, St. John's had to win at that last-second run or late game run by Kansas, but you ended up winning. It's about surviving and advancing. And
that's
now
all matters, right?
St. John's can't miss TV. If I'm you, I'm in that booth. I got a TV somehow set up in there. I can't.
Here's the pitch. Foul ball.
There we go. Yeah, man.
Well, good stuff. Are you putting all your? How do you have it? How are you viewing it? Do you just have the one TV, or do you have all?
Well, now I usually have the 3 or 4 TVs, but now you got a lot has changed in the last few years. Now you got multi-view, so you can have 3 games on, 4 games on at once. So that's how I'm doing now.
I figured you would be the guy though that would have like 4 TVs because you want the full game on each screen.
Right, and that's how I usually have it. That's how I usually have it. But the TV down here is so big that you're not really missing it.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good to go. Of course, you won't be having that now. The way it's spread out, for the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the closer you get,
there'll be a little overlapping,
or you can view one game at a time. Yeah,
a
little overlap, like you said.
Well, brother, enjoy. I know you will. We'll see. We'll be talking about the Final Four next week.
Absolutely, I can't wait.
Wow.
Man,
it goes quick. See, the tournament runs the way it's supposed to. Not like college football playoffs. This is the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah, they're expanding that too, huh?
Oh yeah, it will. They will after this year. It'll go to 16 teams next year. Yeah.
It's all about the money.
All about dollar signs, brother. You know that. You know that. Well, have a great week, man. Stay safe.
All right, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll see you, man. Take care. Good stuff. Kion Brown joining us on the program. Nate Oates, he and I thinking alike. I think that feels right. First name I heard from somebody. So, and he's a really good coach. And Alabama is a good job, obviously, for a lot of coaches. But boy, North Carolina, come on. Yeah, Carolina, not going to be any Duke hiring at North Carolina. Plus, there's nobody out there. I mean, there's nobody who qualifies. But my guess is, too, that, you see, these things don't just happen in a vacuum. Like, that job did not just come open without Carolina already doing due diligence. Do you not think that they've already reached out to several candidates the last couple of weeks? Morris, Bobby Hurley. Morris, there's a better chance that I will be named the head basketball coach at North Carolina than Bobby Hurley. No, I don't think the CFP is perfect. There's way too much time between the end of the season and when the top seeds play. It'll get more streamlined when they go to 16. But this whole thing of playing and being done, but again, right now it's scheduled to be done even later next year, ending the college football season in the second week of January. That's not a good plan. Like, there's no reason you can't keep playing. I mean, the guys are used to that. We don't need the time off. We don't need to have so many days. I mean, some teams were playing 3 weeks later. I don't understand why that's accepted, but it is. It is. I think that'll change some when we go to 16. Just depends on when they decide that it goes to 16. Well, you know how they're going to know it's going to go to 16? When they realize that, when they start talking to networks and advertisers and they realize the money can be maximized. I think it happens in 2027. I think it almost happened this year, but I think it's going to go 2027. That would be my guess. Just follow the money. We're going to have an expansion of both the college football playoff and the NCAA men's basketball tournament the same year. Yay. Yay. That'll be great. That will be great. Thanks to Family Fencing, our studio sponsor. Get a free quote today, 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. Thanks to those folks. Thanks to McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hundley. Our chat room, so much fun with the fam. It's always great to talk to everybody. Thank you so much, Mark. And thanks to everybody in chat. Sundown Electric, one of the best reputations of any business in our region. They're located down in Elliston. Craftsmanship, attention to detail, communication, and they never do anything without talking to you completely about their price. Reach out to them, Sundown Electric, thanks to Jeff Smith. Ready, Set Fund is Bob Christ, BobChrist11, CRST at Gmail. Raise money for your organization, your event, your school team, whatever it might be. Reach out, man. It works. $4,300 for Floyd County softball in 5 days. Awesome. Professional Incorporated, that's Travis Williams up in Dublin. Thanks, Trav. 38 years in business, sponsor of our text line, which never stops popping. We mentioned the NRV Super Bowl. That's where we're going to be doing our BDST bash this summer. 382-5525. Reserve your lane for the Sweet 16. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, James Lawson. They've been around since 1997. Thanks to them. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of yours truly, and BDST. Thanks to Lara Ramsey. The BDST fan question of the week brought to you by the attorney Ryan Pry, who's already been mentioned on the show by Morris. West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning. Who is your Sweet 16 upsets? Or who's going to come out of this as a surprise team? Is it Texas? Is St. John's really a surprise team? Let me know. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Charles Lee, give him a call. They are the best at what they do. 540-553-2971. And we are presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller and the crew there. They had a great opening weekend at the racetrack. It was awesome. And it's going to get even better once they get more acclimated, week in and week out. So great to talk last week with Stacy Compton leading into that. That was really cool. Joining us now on the program, it's that guy, Damien Sordelett, who I got to see briefly on Friday night. He was at the Dedmon Center for our WNIT game. He's everywhere. What's up, DS? How are you?
Not much this morning. Just wish the Highlanders could have advanced another round.
Yeah, I remember when I talked to Mike McGuire before the Morehead State game, he was like, yeah, that's a pretty good matchup for us. We felt pretty good about it. He goes, and this was a couple days ahead of the Morehead State game. But, if you do look ahead, Arkansas State, that's a tough matchup. especially down there.
Yeah.
And he proved to be right. I don't think they ever led, so they were good. Arkansas State's good.
Yeah.
They're
really good. And the Morehead State coach after the game said she had to call her players from the beach in Florida because they thought their season was over. They got 1 day of practice and then traveled to Radford. So, I mean, if they have a few shots rattle in, they probably have a better chance to win. That's for sure. So, but good season. McGuire got some postseason experience with the team, and bring back Simonson, you bring back Williams. Hopefully, you got a good nucleus.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and I think at one time they had a free throw discrepancy of like 19-1 in their favor too. So that doesn't hurt when you have shot that many more free throws than your opponent. So
yeah,
all right. But all right. So looking ahead now to you had more media exposure. You got a chance to talk to some peeps yesterday, right? Was it yesterday?
Yeah,
or was it today?
It was yesterday. Franklin, Ty Howell, and then we got the players in breakout. So Aiden Green, Kamari Copeland. I didn't get time to get over to Tyson Flowers, and but yeah, it was good to see him and good to see some practice and see. We had this discussion a few weeks ago, and I remember this after I was leaving practice. We were talking about the quarterback battle and does anyone change positions? And I brought up AJ Brand, potentially moving to safety. Chris Lester brought up, he's going to play running back. Lester was right on the right side of the ball, but he's now wide receiver. So, so that'll be interesting to see how he fits in. He's now the 12th scholarship wide receiver for the spring. So we'll see where he comes out.
That's a lot. It's a lot of wide receivers.
That's a lot. Marlon Jackson is out for the spring, so now you're down to 11. So you'll get to see. We'll see how many more, where you can fit in. They like his athleticism. I mean, he was the best athlete at Irmo, so you had to play him at quarterback. Yeah. And James Franklin brought up, it's not a crowded room at all. You're not bringing back 3, 4, 5 all ACC guys. You're bringing back Aiden Green and adding Kion Brown. So, yeah.
What's been the vibe like for you so far? What can you sense anything from the players so far? I know we're still early.
Yeah.
In camp, about a week into actually doing football things.
Yeah. Aiden Green was really forthcoming yesterday. Mentioned there's a different vibe in the building. With Franklin, he said, it took him a little bit to acclimate himself to the expectations, and Pry probably had the same expectations, but Franklin, when he says them, gives her a little bit more weight because he's met those expectations before as a head coach. Pry hadn't, so that's a big deal to these players. They know Franklin's pedigree, they know he's a winner, and they know he knows what it takes to get to where they want to be. So they're having to meet expectations now, and that's a good thing.
Well, it's gonna be one of those situations where we look at all these things, and we'll have to wait and see exactly how everything plays out. But do you feel like the guys? I don't know how to say this without trying to make it sound like I'm putting down Brent Pry, but did they just immediately feel like, is there a vibe that there's more credibility in the building? Is that a safe way to ask?
Maybe. I mean, Pry being a first-time head coach, I mean, he could hang on his defensive accolades, but he had never led a full team. Franklin has, and players have said this. That Franklin, because of his background and what he's done as a head coach, that carries a little bit more weight with him. That, he can say, hey, I've done this. And they're like, okay, yeah. So that's something. And back to Brand, you might see some wild hokey. Hopefully they call it wild turkey. With Brand at wide receiver, bring him in at quarterback. We know Penn State ran the Wildcat a lot with Tyler Warren a few years ago. You find a way to get AJ Brand the ball in his hands, and you find a way to get him on the field, and that's a way to do it. Is being a former quarterback, he can do things with the ball in his hands, and he can see the field. That's a good way to get him on the field. And Ty Howell even brought it up. It doesn't matter if you're 11 or 12 personnel. If you have A.J. Brown on the field, you can use him in different ways. And they said that was important. So,
well, I think we'll see. I know they released another over and under on the wins, and to me that's silly. I hate it's too early for anything like that because you don't know how the conference opponents are going to be. I guess we could look at the non-con and think you're going to have a couple of wins there for sure. Maybe ODU's until not. You can't just all of a sudden automatically say everything's going to improve immediately and you're going to just wipe the deck with ODU just because of a new coach. That we found out that ODU had more talent on its team than Tech did last year. So, but I hate seeing stuff like that. It just annoys me. I know it's something fans like. I know it's over and unders on wins. To me, it's just silly this time.
Right, but it gets you talking. That's the whole point.
It does. I know.
It's Bill Roth in his spring practice primer that he posted a couple days ago. He had a Q&A, and they asked him about journalism. And he said, basically, journalists these days are content creators.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bone to pick with that. But he's not wrong when you have when you have writers who are like, all right, let's do over-unders on how many games these teams are going to win this year just to get some content flowing, to get some engagement going. That's content creation. And people are going to click on it, and people are going to talk about it, and then it gets to us, and we discuss it. Again, 7.5 wins is what they're setting it at. Again, I would lean towards 6, and I can say you can definitely hit the over on that. 7.5 might be a little bit difficult to get to, especially because we don't know. The transfer portal can still work. Chandler Moore's saga still goes on, and we don't know if he's going to be back at UVA or not, and that changes the complexion of what the Cavaliers will look like. So there's still a lot of questions to be answered here through spring because you got to get through healthy. So I would wait till probably closer to – I would wait to do this over the summer when there's nothing to talk about and you need something to get people chirping away before we get to these media days.
Right. Especially when we saw what happened with UVA last year, right? Nobody had that in their bingo card. Nobody thought Indiana would necessarily run the table. We knew they'd be pretty good. So you just don't know.
Right.
You just don't know.
And no one saw Wake Forest winning 9 games.
Right. Andy had him picked dead last.
So did I. Andy and I did not have Wake Forest winning a single league game last year.
And that's what's great about it, It's what's great about it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. But what's your week now? What's it like? You got the big scrimmage on Saturday. Will you guys have any availability for that on Saturday at all? You just shut down. They don't let you in at all.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get Pro Day on Friday. I guess the headliners are Ben Bell, Kelvin Gilliam, and Kyron Jones. Not a great class. So
what is it? That's the Pro Day?
Yeah. It's far different from last year when it was Bashal Tootin, Jalen Lane, Aeneas Peoples, Antoine Powell Ryland. You're not going to have that coming off a 3-9 season. So
who would come? That's going to sound mean. Then again, he made a lot of money. Who would come to watch a Kyron Jones Pro Day?
Well, you're going to get some scouts coming because Gilliam's someone who could make a roster.
He could, yes.
Yeah.
Practice squad guy.
Right.
Make a roster. Yeah. Yeah.
This is also the opportunity where Kyron Jones, if you want him to throw, you can also put him see what he can do as a tight end. Throw him in different elements. Give him different options. That's something you could do.
Yeah. That's something you could do. Wow, you're right. That's a shift. That's a big shift. You're right. A whole big shift of pro day right there. So it's just, how does that work, by the way? Now, I know it evolves. How does pro day work now? Is that just the two guys, or they have anybody else out there at all that they showcase?
Oh, they'll showcase themselves in the weight room. They'll showcase themselves on the field. You'll get a lot of work in. So you'll get a lot of work in with wide receiver drills. Last year, I remember Colin Schlee threw for the wide receivers because Jones is a senior. Because Jones is available, he will be throwing to all those guys. And then you'll get some guys like Stephen Gosnell, who probably wants another chance at the pro game. He can come back and go through it. Same with like an Ollie Jennings. You could have some guys who went through it last year and have it and want to, get back on the team's radar. They can come back and do that. I've seen it done a couple times where players are like, I'm not ready to hang it up yet. I kind of want to go out there and give it a shot. So we'll see that. Because on defense, you'll have Jaden Keller running at linebacker. So you'll get some guys. That's right. Gosnell is on a roster. I forgot about that. But I know Jennings could. I know he didn't stick with the Packers after he went there. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. I know in terms of the tight end guys now, I'll tell you what, man. Coach Elmation loves it. He says he thinks he's going to have a really impressive NFL career, just a guy who hangs around in the league for 5 to 7 years because he's such a good blocker on top of everything else. So,
yeah, Virginia Tech's tight end room is arguably the best room on offense right now. When you look at from a position standpoint, Gosnell, Reynolds, Hairston, you even factor in St. Germain and then Henderson. They're going to run you're going to get a lot of tight ends involved in the offense this year. They're good. Hairston blocking yesterday, James Franklin couldn't contain himself with the way he delivered a hit on a block. Because I heard one of those, like there was a tight end who was trying, I think it was Brody Jones, who was going there and trying to block. And James Franklin was like, you're not supposed to like pat him on the back. You're supposed to hit him, block him. And then Jerikas Hairston on the next play went in, and I think it was Wiley or Jones, one of the Penn State transfer linebackers. He went in and hit him and delivered a block, and Franklin was ecstatic about that. So the tight end room's good this year, and they'll make an impact. And I will agree, Reynolds had a really impressive catch over Sherrod Coble Thursday in the tight red zone from Grunkemeyer. There's a rapport there. I can see Reynolds immediately joining Gosnell in the rotation as starters, and they're going to look good, both of them.
What was this? I got sent a text. What was this? Kamari Copeland was talking about at practice. They have student managers doing drills, and he threw one of the managers to the ground. What is that all about?
Oh. So that was in part of, that was in I hadn't gotten to Copeland by that time. So you'll just have it where like a student manager is there, like going like when you're doing individual drills, you're not going out there against like offensive linemen. And it's just one of them where Hilson went in there, Javion Hilson went in there and just cleaned out a student manager on a rush.
I don't know if that's the flex they're trying to make that to be.
No, but
shouldn't be plowing student managers to the ground and posting about it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think
kind of odd. It's a little odd.
I know Copeland got a little excited about that because I think they asked him who's standing out so far in spring, and I think Javion Hilson is going to be one of those guys. Probably not here during spring, but I think in training camp he is going to be pushing to be a starter. I don't care which end you put him on. He needs to be on the field. He's got everything you look for: size, length, twitch, speed, power. Like, he's legit. And if you can get him, I don't care which side you put him on, he's going to make an impact. And I think he's going to be pushing for a starting job in camp. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind. You put him and Copeland together, that's going to be a problem for offensive linemen to deal with. Just like it was when you had Peoples and APR next to each other. That was a problem for offensive linemen to deal with.
Some hoops, real quick. Isaiah Pasha is now in the portal, first of what is expected to be a mass exodus of Mike Young's players in the portal. It seems early to me, but it's happening right now, and a reality they're going to have to deal with because it's going to be more on the way. Just some of your thoughts about, are you hearing anything specific about other guys yet? People are going to ask you, so I figured I'd ask you now.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else. I expected Pasha because, his role really diminished throughout the season, and he couldn't get on the floor. He's a good player. I don't know if he's I don't know if Pasha's a power conference guy. I mean, he shined at Delaware when he was the CAA Rookie of the Year 2 seasons ago. I could see him going back down to that level, and that's where he would excel. I don't know what. I honestly think Mike Young needs to. I mean, he only retained 4 players for last year. I think if you can get 4 or 5 retained for this upcoming season, I think you're in a good spot. So as long as you retain Hammond, Hansberry, Shute, Johnson, probably Sincere Jones and some other of these youngsters, you'll be in a better spot than you were a year ago. But yeah, I do expect there will be some movement. Everyone set their expectations for the NCAA tournament and you didn't get it, and now they're going to go chase the NCAA tournament elsewhere probably. So
yeah, right.
I do see there being an exodus. I don't know if it's going to be like a mass exodus like it was a year ago, but I do think there will be a hit to the team.
Yeah. I think they're going to be, there's going to be guys on there that's going to have chances to get more money, I think, elsewhere. We'll see. One thing about it, we knew Chris Coleman had reported there was an extension that was going to be announced for Mike Young. They put that off, obviously, with the criticism that came his way after the turn down to the NIT. Have you heard anything about when that might be announced at all?
I haven't heard anything. Again, he's got 1 year left on the deal, and in this day and age, you don't need to give a coach an extension going into his final year, because you can assess based on that year if there's an extension or not.
I agree. I agree with you. I don't understand this. They get announced all the time for no reason. Let's just give a guy an extension for what? They went 500. Why? What are we doing? I mean, especially in today's environment when it's all about the money that you have to spend. I mean, let's just say it that way. I don't get it either, why the pressure seems to be there to make sure. Do you want your coach to be comfortable if they underachieved?
Right.
I mean,
and the only reason coaches get extensions these days is because teams want to hold on to them because they know other programs are going to be coming after them. And so you put and
that's not the case here. Let's just say it the way it is. I'm not trying to be mean, but nobody's going after Mike Young.
No, this was his retirement stop. And it's just a matter of how much longer he's got. I mean, it's from an X's and O's standpoint, he's very good. I will say there were some instances during the season where I'm like, you drew that up for a game-winning play. I'm thinking of the game at Miami where they should have won. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I agree with Prometheus. Stability does help with making sure you retain your assistant coaches. Because again, I think Chris Coleman brought this up as well. Like, if you're an assistant coach and you don't know if Mike Young's returning or not, do you go elsewhere where you're going to find stability? So we'll see. And if we see some star players like, say, Hansberry, who's been with Chester Frazier forever, or decides to leave, that might be a sign that Frazier's not sticking around. Hammond and Johnson came to Virginia Tech because Mike Young recruited them. If they decide to bolt, and that might be a clear sign something's happening behind the scenes. So, again, those guys with the transfer portal, that will be interesting to see. It officially opens April 7th. Everyone's just saying right now they're intending to enter the portal. It happened with football over the offseason. Once the season was over, people were like, hey, we're intending to enter the portal. That's going to keep happening until April 7th. So we'll probably see maybe one or two more announcements while players figure out what's going on when it comes to the coaching. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully we get a chance to sit down with Whit Babcock here before April 7th. I've requested to sit down. I don't know when it's going to be. It might be before the next BOV meeting. It might be after the following one because athletics will be making a presentation there. Not like the one that he made over the summer last year, but probably just more of an update of where things are. So we'll see and see what Babcock has to say about all of this.
Do you believe it? Will he answer your question? Because you're the type of guy that will ask the right questions. So, I mean, do you think you'll get an answer for things that you want to know?
Yeah. I mean, Whit's been pretty honest with us.
Good.
I don't think he's going to dance around it because he knows it's a topic that people are going to want to have addressed. I mean, Mark Berman did corner him at the ACC women's basketball tournament down in Duluth, and it was like, hey, is Mike Young back? And he said, yeah, he's coming back. But he didn't mention anything about extension or anything. So that's where there was the difference between that and what Chris Coleman was reporting. So, again, we'll just see how it goes. I agree that's a pretty big topic of conversation with the fan base is what's going to happen there. So I agree. And I know there's some strong feelings one way or the other. So it'll be interesting to see how Virginia Tech addresses this, and especially how Mike Young addresses this. And there should be more money available. I know they got the rev share portion. We just got to see if NIL is there to be a component in retaining players and doing a better job of filling out a roster and maybe not going after the overseas sensations and getting guys who you've probably seen for a few years, stateside, and going and getting them.
I'd like to hear his answer to a question about how he feels about being completely taken out of the football equation going forward as he serves out his term in Blacksburg. Like, what kind of adjustment is that for him personally and professionally to know that because you went 0 for 2 in hires that they didn't want you part of this, But I don't know whether people will ask that question or not.
Yeah. It's good to ask that question because they have not told us what the structure is over there. And he mentioned it's going to be more of a professional structure. So that's a question I like to ask is what's the structure like at football now? Are you completely out of the picture, or are you still part of the chain of command with football? Because the whole point was if he's not going to be in the picture, they were going to hire a GM first who's going to be in charge of hiring the coach, and the GM would have, essentially carte blanche and running things. But they hired James Franklin, who brought his GM with him. And I don't know how much sway Andy Frank has in terms of what's being done. James Franklin seems more hands-on and interested in everything that's going on. So James Franklin might be the pseudo coach GM, and he's sort of running the football program with maybe the oversight from the Board of Visitors. So again, good question to ask and to see, if anything's been done in terms of structure.
Yeah. Well, I think the structure right now is Franklin's pretty much calling the shots. That's what I've been told from people over there. I was just saying it the way it is. He's been given total carte blanche with everything. And so nobody's telling him no, and anything he suggests is being greenlit. And I guess I understand that to a certain point, but it's also a little dangerous when you're given one coach that much power. I know he's the coach that has to be successful for that athletic department to be successful, but it's interesting some of the things I hear about how that place is now being run. So,
yeah. And honestly, I know there's a lot of people who are not happy with the mom and pop shop mentality that there was with the way Virginia Tech athletics was being run. So if you come in with a coach who is pretty headstrong and knows what he wants, that might be a good change.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
But then why have an AD? I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, the AD can be there to kind of maybe be a check or balance for something, but it doesn't really seem like there's much of that going on right now.
No.
I mean, you got the allocation of the funds. So I think Franklin's putting those to good use right now. And hopefully eventually they get over to addressing Castle, whether it's gutting the inside of it and redoing it to where you can make some money off it, or, you know, I know there's I don't know where the topics come from of having the team play in Roanoke for a year and then you just tear down Castle and rebuild it to something, but they brought up the example of Georgia Tech renovated its arena. They had the team play off campus, and then but when they came back, the environment just wasn't the same. There wasn't the connection there because they're like, oh, well, you were gone for a year. We forgot who you were. And you really can't do that for women's basketball because they have a ton of momentum right now. And that's a program that I don't think is going to have a problem retaining players after going to the NCAA tournament this year. So Megan Duffy needs to keep the momentum rolling, and I don't think she can afford playing games from Roanoke for a year and losing the fan support that, you know, they've been able to get back into Castle Coliseum after the Kenny Brooks days. So she needs to keep the momentum rolling, and that means staying in Blacksburg and keeping the fans coming to the games.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you went right into it. I was going to ask you if you heard anything about the Castle thing. Just kind of got, you know, put in the dumpster fire there in terms of the blueprint and the things that we were told about they were wanting to do. So is that just completely off the table now?
No, not with the money they've allocated. That's part of it. That was part of Babcock's Invest to Win presentation to the Board of Visitors last August. They need to address Castle Coliseum because they're not making any money.
Yeah.
That means you need to find a way to add premium seating in there. And it's not just going to be courtside. You're going to get some elevated premium seating. Yeah. That's why I would say you probably need to gut the inside of it and redo it to where you can add.
You do. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
It would take what you said, though. They would just have to figure out a place to play. You're right.
Yeah.
It's going to take a year. That would take a whole year to get that done. Yeah.
I mean, what you could do, I don't know if they've gotten this far into the weeds, but on the other side of the practice facility, you have those basketball court, the tennis courts, and some other things. I don't know if there's enough land there where you could start building a new arena there. And then, I mean, that would take away having the joint space there between Castle and Merriman, where you could have things. But, you know, I wouldn't mind looking at building a new arena on campus while you're keeping Castle open. And then once you're done with that, you find something to do with Castle.
That'd be a good
that
question
would be
to
an
find out.
option. Or
I wonder
something
what
in
a
my
new
mind.
arena would cost. How much do you think a new arena would cost, though? Woo. Like, I know they got some money. What do you think?
When Liberty built its new arena, and this opened for the 2020-2021 season, it was $65 million.
And that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, and that was a 4,000
So,
seat arena.
yeah. You're looking at what? At least 15?
Well, I don't know
More?
if you want to go that big because you're
I
not
mean,
like how many times are
they're
you throwing
not.
out
I
Castle?
agree. No, I agree.
I
But do you build it thinking you could host other things in it too?
I would say 9 to 10,000 is a nice sweet spot. Um,
I
and
agree. Yeah,
I
I
would
agree.
seriously look at so Liberty's Arena is a smaller version of VCU's Siegel Center,
Yes.
where you have this main concourse walking around and you go down into the seats, and you have premium seating up there on the concourse, and it's not that far away from the court. I would look into something like that.
They did that on purpose, didn't they? That was intentional. Todd Wetmore, they looked at the Siegel. He told me that. Yeah.
Because you're able to build a premium seating on behind the benches, sort of a suite-like area. And then I would say the way Liberty does its floor seats opposite the benches needs to be looked at because they have them on risers, and now the people in the front row of the actual seats can't see the court.
Yeah.
That would be something you would need to address. But I would do something similar to that. I don't know if Virginia Tech needs to go big like that because if you do 9 to 10,000 seats, if you want to have a concert, you can put seats on the floor and you can get 10 to 12,000 for a concert, and I think that's a good size. And I don't know, how many shows you can bring to Blacksburg that would necessitate putting it in Castle outside of Metallica or Taylor Swift. Most of the shows are going to be you could fit into a new arena. So I know that's on the table now because of the increase in funds. So again, right now we're just talking about what could it look like?
Yeah. It's interesting. Well, they got some options. It sounds like, and that's always a good thing. So, great stuff, brother. I hope you have a great rest of the week and you get some good info coming out of the scrimmage because those are the things that are really the most important when you go head to head and try to see what guys start looking like. So that'll be good.
Yeah, and when I talked to Ty, I asked Ty Howell about the quarterback competition. I was like, "Is this too small of a sample size right now through 4 practices?" And he said, "I want to get them in a scrimmage, and then we'll start, evaluating where things are." So, I'll say this: the one practice we got to see fully through, Grunkemeyer did show he could be mobile. I know they don't really want him to be mobile.
Yeah.
But Bryce Baker, man, whew. If you're comfortable running a 2 quarterback set, he's got some wheels. He can run.
He can run. Well, move him somewhere. Maybe he can help out somewhere else. You never know.
But he can spin it. He can spin the ball. He's not Kyron Drones.
Lord, I hope they don't do that again. No more 2 quarterback systems. They never work.
No. I'll
say not modern football.
Yeah, Baker can spin it. I mean, all the quarterbacks they have in there can spin it. And if they had been there last year, Drones wouldn't have been on. They would have tried to look for Drones a spot elsewhere on the offense because the way Grunkemeyer can spin it, Baker can spin it, even Troy Hune. I mean, from a passing standpoint, they are ahead of Drones for a fact.
Well, brother, enjoy the Sweet 16 and have fun this weekend. Look forward to talking with you again next Wednesday.
Yeah, and I'll say my bracket, I still have a chance to finish top 10 in the group.
Hey.
Because my Final Four is still intact.
That's good. Mine too, actually. I was wronger. I had Florida losing in the Elite 8 to Houston, so I'm good. I'm still good.
I had Florida losing in the Sweet 16 to Vanderbilt. I thought the SEC tournament was going to happen again, and of course, Vandy goes and
of course, either one of them made it. So,
well, that half court shot at the buzzer somehow was inside the rim and then bounced out.
How did it not stay in the cylinder?
Because the balls are overinflated for the NCAA tournament. Come on, buy into the conspiracy theory.
All right, brother. Listen, have a great one, man, and we'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week.
All right, man. Be good. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, the ball. Buy into the conspiracy theory that the balls are too overinflated. Good stuff. Damien's great, man. I love talking to Damien, and he loves interacting with you. And we get a lot of good stuff. Damien is really good at what he does. Really, really good at what he does. And he's a great dude too. And he'll ask the tough questions, man. He won't have any hesitation about asking Whit Babcock stuff. Yeah. By the way, if you hear things, we're going back to a topic that I haven't talked about for a while. Finally got my roof situation worked out, and they are here. I will mention who took care of my roof when we're done here, but they are here. So if you hear things, let me know. I was told they were really good, and they showed up here a little after 7 and they've got things undone, and they are up doing it's crazy. It's crazy. So if you hear things today and tomorrow, it's the roofing guys, but they are here. Just to update you. David Teel joining us coming up in just a little bit. Taylor Swift concert. Oh, college gals, they would go to that. Wayne would go to a Taylor Swift concert. He couldn't wait. He'd be there. He'd have his little T-shirt on. Yeah, I agree with that too, Wayne. It's a little smaller version of JPJ. My guess is they are not going to tear down. They're not just going to get rid of Castle and build a whole new arena. You're looking at I don't know how much money they allegedly have, but if you build a brand new arena, I don't know what you do with Castle. Would you tear down Castle? Would you build another arena and keep Castle running? You're looking at $100 million, and you're looking at lots of money, hundreds of millions. So I don't know what kind of money they have budgeted, but I got a feeling they're just going to stick with the plan and try to figure out a way to renovate Castle. But who knows? Who knows? Poison can open for Swift. Wow. Wayne, would that be the greatest day of your life? To be in Castle Coliseum? You're in tech country and you're watching Poison. Can you imagine Poison opening for Taylor Swift? And they could bring her out to sing an extra verse that they had written that would not rhyme, where every rose has its thorn. Good stuff. Matt Roan, the director of athletics at James Madison, joins us here in about 20 minutes or so. Joining us now, there he is, the Hall of Famer. He is David Teel, and whether it's the ACC tournament or the NCAA tournament, I do not think about the college basketball postseason and not think of David. What's up, man? How are you?
Good morning, Rick. How are you?
I'm good, man. How was Philly? That was great. I thought about you all weekend. Those are some good games you got to watch.
They were good games. Yeah, Philadelphia puts on a good show. The crowds were great. UVA just came up short against a very physical Tennessee bunch, coached by, an icon of the game. And that was Rick Barnes' 30th NCAA tournament.
Wow. Really? I guess that's right. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Look across the landscape of the Sweet 16, Rick. Shout out to my fellow senior citizens. Rick Barnes, 70-something. John Calipari at 67. You got Kelvin Sampson. You got Tom Izzo. You got Rick Pitino.
Wow, that's
true. And the way the bracket is and the regions are set up, you could have 4 senior citizens coaching in the Final Four. It'd be awesome.
It would be awesome. Old school works, David. It still works. Yes.
Well, it just goes to show, if you're willing to adapt, as these gentlemen obviously have been, to the ever-changing landscape of college athletics, and you're resourced, as each of these gentlemen are at their respective programs, you can get it done.
You can get it done. That's right. That's right. Now, that's a great point. I hadn't thought about that. That's true. I hope that happens. I don't care what my bracket looks like. I hope that happens. That'd be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, it would torch mine, that's for sure.
Well, speaking of torching, let's get down to the North Carolina situation. Not a surprise. I heard from a coach right after they lost. He said Hubert's going to be done. And sure enough, last night they pulled the trigger, Hubert Davis out. Just some of your thoughts. I mean, the record obviously is good, but something didn't feel right when I was down there with Radford earlier. We always talk to some of the people that sit around us. There was just something didn't feel right with him down at Carolina this year. What were some of your thoughts?
It wasn't just this year, Rick.
Yeah.
It was an accumulation of things. Obviously, the VCU loss put it over the top, and then his reaction to it. Post-game press conference was not good. There wasn't a lot of accountability there.
No.
Can't blow a 19-point second-half lead in the NCAA tournament, even if your best player is hurt. I mean, you were 5-2 without Caleb Wilson, and that's just no excuse to then squander a 19-point lead and just look bad doing it. There's no good way to do it, but they especially looked ill-prepared at times and just not connected. And, 5 years, it started out with taking down Coach K in his final home game and then again in the Final Four, and it never remotely approached that again. And as nice and as gentle a man as you can imagine, as Carolina as they come, the nephew of the great Walter Davis, and he wanted nothing better nothing more than to elevate this program to the heights it's accustomed. And he just wasn't able to do it. And I was struck by a statement that he wants to coach again in the very near future.
Yeah, me too.
And someone will hire him. At what level, I don't know, but it will be fascinating to watch.
And I was going to ask you that very question. I mean, it's speculation, obviously. Would it be a Power Four? Would he settle for another, a good program just outside? I mean, who knows? But it was interesting how quickly he did say that in that statement. Yeah, I want to be out there and coach again. Doesn't have to be Carolina. So, good for him. I hope that happens for him. I do.
Yeah, I would doubt it would be at the Power Four level.
Right. I would agree. You watched UVA. Some things happened at the end of the game. I still don't understand that review that went against them at the end. But in any event, what were some of your thoughts?
Rick, the review was fine.
I mean, but did it hit a UVA hand? I didn't think it did.
He said it did.
Did he really? Yeah,
Talon
okay.
Hall admitted that it hit his hand.
Okay.
The call was correct on the court and was correct in not being overturned.
Okay. All right. But that did kind of flip it back around. What were some of your thoughts watching UVA in that game? They never could quite sustain. They got the climb, and they made the climb, but they couldn't quite sustain it.
Yeah, they got the lead at 71-70 and then couldn't close it. Number one, Tennessee's really got some dudes.
They do.
They are UVA looking in the mirror. They're deep, they're long, they're big. And Jacoby Gillespie was really kind of the difference maker. He's an athletic guard that Virginia really couldn't handle when it mattered most. And then there's Jakari White wide open in the right corner. He's right in front of me. I was closer to him than any defender. And I'm watching him go up, and I'm thinking, well, this shot's going in. And he airmailed the basket. I mean, it went over on the other side. I've never been more shocked.
I know.
At such an errant miss, and maybe he was surprised that he was that open in that situation. But if he makes that shot, which he does most of the time, we're having a different discussion. But that's kind of the way March works. But that doesn't gloss over the loss does not tarnish a 30-win season in Ryan Odom's first year leading the program, and what those 5 senior incoming transfers did in their one-year cameo in Charlottesville, setting the foundation for Coach Odom to take the program forward.
Which I completely believe he will do. They're not going away. Not in my opinion. They're not going to go away. No chance. No chance. What matchups, you mentioned the coaches, but what specific game matchups excite you going forward you're going to watch here coming up in the Sweet 16? What do you like best? The Duke game, people are already talking about St. John's and Duke just because of Patino. So,
well, not just Patino, St. John's Duke, because of, you got Zuby Ejiofor and Cam Boozer. They're going to match up against each other in the front court. And then I go to the Midwest, and Houston, Illinois is an absolute banger.
It is.
And 2 of the best freshman guards in the country in Keaton Wagler and Kingston Flemings for Illinois and Houston, respectively. Oh my gosh. That is appointment viewing. And the fact that it's in Houston adds another layer to it. And then don't sleep on the battle of corn between Iowa and Nebraska. In the other game there, that's to think that either Iowa or Nebraska is going to be in the Elite 8 is pretty wild. Iowa having not been to the Sweet 16 since 1999,
right?
And Ben McCollum takes them there in his first season with still some of his D2 dudes that he brought with him from Northwest Missouri State to Drake and then to Iowa. And then Nebraska, which was the only Power 4 program never to have won an NCAA tournament game until last week when they took out Troy. And then the second round game between Nebraska and Vanderbilt was, oh my gosh, it was breathtaking. And how Tyler Tanner's heave from beyond midcourt didn't go in.
I know.
I'll never know.
It was funny. The Nebraska players thought they had lost. They thought he had gone in, and they thought, no. And then they realized they looked up and saw the red celebrating in the stands, and they realized it didn't stay in the cylinder.
Yep.
And I saw a great graphic. They've been trying to get rid of Fred Hoiberg for how many years? Seems like it always came up, right? Now here he has done this. Shows you sometimes patience does pay off, right?
With his son as the point guard.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
And the young man who made the game-winning layup is a Lincoln native. It would be like Chance Mallory making the game-winning shot for UVA in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
That would be the equivalent, and just such a cool moment for that fan base, and looking forward to that game as well.
Derek's asking, hey, Rick, please ask David who he thinks the next number 1 might be to be eliminated of the 3 that remain. Michigan, Duke, and, of course, Arizona. What do you think?
I think all 3 are going to make the Final Four. But if you ask me which one is most vulnerable, I would say Duke.
Yeah.
Number 1, because of the competition. Number 2, because of the health concerns.
Yep, 100%. 100%.
John Shire has mentioned the possibility of Caleb Foster returning this weekend.
Wow.
That would be great. Don't know what kind of game shape he would be in. Pat Gamba came back last weekend, played 13 minutes. You got to believe he's going to play even more against St. John's because of the Red Storm's rugged front court. But yeah, and plus, St. John's is playing well. Just coming off a Big East tournament championship, cuffed UConn around in the title game there, and then looked good. Coughed it up a little bit late against Kansas, but was essentially in control of that second round game. I think that was in Portland. I get my venues mixed up.
Yeah.
But the DC regional, you just look at Hurley, Izzo, UConn, Michigan State, Patino, Duke, Shire, St. John's. And the fact that it's in D.C., my gosh, the ticket prices are going to be absurd.
And they'll get it too. People.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean that's a Duke hub. The folks from New York and Connecticut will all take the train down or drive. It's going to be wild in that building. The Wizards aren't getting that kind of crowd.
No, they're not. So Carolina Ray and Steve both asking, will David tell us who he thinks is the best fit for Carolina, the new head coach? Thanks, guys. David, what do you think? I know it's early. We don't know. It's a speculation. But who do you like? Who's a fit there, first guy that comes to head?
If you're North Carolina, you call the biggest names in the business.
No question.
Go down the list. You call Billy Donovan. Does he want back in college? You call Brad Stevens. Does he want back in college? Both have been gone for a long time now. You have to make that calculus as well.
Yep.
And then if you're staying in the college game, is Todd Golden movable? Is Nate Oates movable? Is Dusty May? TJ Otzelberger at Iowa State is a hell of a coach.
He is. He really is.
What he's doing there. Mark Byington from right there in the New River Valley.
Yeah, it's great.
And the job he did not only at James Madison and Georgia Southern before that, and then James Madison and now Vanderbilt. That guy gets it now. And, he's a rimmed half-court shot away from being in the Sweet 16 himself. So, those are, you're North freaking Carolina.
Exactly.
Basketball, not football.
Right.
But, the specter of North Carolina football looms over this hire. And all the resources they have devoted to Belichick and his cronies with very little return on investment thus far. Carolina's going to have to pony up. They owe Hubert Davis more than $5 million, and it's going to cost a lot of money to buy out a top name coach.
Right.
And then you're going to have to compensate him and his staff accordingly. Fascinating times in Chapel. For the first time in generations, it will not be in the family.
That's right. And they may be the bluest of all the blue bloods. You're right. There's nowhere they can't go to look for a coach. It's a great point. It's North Carolina. Come on.
Now, will everyone be interested? Probably not.
No.
For a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of turmoil in Chapel Hill right now.
Yep, 100%.
From the top down, from the board to the chancellor. You got an outgoing AD, an incoming AD. You've got the arena battle. Where are they going to build? Are they going to rebuild? Are they going to relocate? So much drama, and that may not interest the glamour of the job, notwithstanding that may turn some folks off.
Absolutely. The Brad Stevens name is very interesting. You brought up. You got to figure out some point. He scratched that itch now being exec. He's got to miss it somewhere, right?
I don't know, man. He's winning championships in Boston.
He is.
Doesn't get much better than that. They're pretty darn good this season, too.
Oh, and I love the Billy Donovan. Ooh, boy, that would be a rock show, wouldn't it, if he went in down there? Wow. I like that, too. But sky's the limit, Carolina fan. Enjoy, because I think you're going to have a lot of big names tied to this thing. So, Are you done with your tournament travels, or? I
am. Okay. Travel budgets aren't what they used to be.
No.
It would have been a no-brainer in another time for me to continue on the trail, but I'll be elsewhere this weekend watching the games.
All right. Well, I know you had a great time. It's great. I saw on last Thursday it was the highest rated they've ever had of an opening day of the tournament. I mean, it shows you how healthy fans are still approaching college basketball, and that's always a great thing. And I know you're one of college basketball's biggest fans, so I'm glad you had a great time at both the ACC and the NCAA tournament, man. It's cool. Very, very
cool. No doubt. Love every minute of it.
Yeah, I know you did. All right, man. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games, David. Appreciate you.
Rick. Be well.
All right, you too. David Teel joining us on the program, the Hall of Famer. Matt Roan, Director of Athletics at James Madison, going to join us coming up. We want to thank the NRV Super Bowl, Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios here, McClellan Chiropractic. We thank Mark Hunley, Professional Door Incorporated, sponsor of our text line. Thanks for all the questions for David there. Carolina fans chiming in this morning. Get the sense there's not one Carolina fan that's upset about what happened last night. Thanks to Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of this program. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. The attorney, Ryan Pry, down in Radford, 701 West Main Street. Trust and Estate Planning. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of me and of this program. The Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com with Bob Chris. Check them out. Figure out how to get your organization some money. And Sundown Electric, thanks to them. Thanks to Jeff Smith and his brother for sponsoring us. And check them out. Go to their website. They're down in Elliston. About their craftsmanship, their customer satisfaction, second to none. And if you want a T-shirt, hit me up. $20. There's still a few people here locally that I haven't worked out T-shirt delivery that paid, so I got to get that done too. But they're still here. $20 if you want a T-shirt. Good stuff. Good discussion in chat as always. And what good stuff. And because of our great guests, right? You get Kion Brown, you get Damien, you get David Teel. Now we're going to have Maddie here in just a second. I mean, hope you're enjoying the program. See, subscribe, like, and share. Share the channel. Tell people they're missing out if they are not subscribed. I love the names David brought up. I'm still going to stick with Nate Oates. Billy Donovan, interesting. That would be intriguing, wouldn't it? Todd Golden, how would that ego fit down there? He's right, though. There are things going on down there that may be unattractive to certain coaches. Brad Stevens was an unbelievable coach. He's been an unbelievable executive. Some point, do you want to get back on the sideline? I mean, he's been in the NBA. He understands how the professional game works. That's what college athletics is. It's a professional game now. It seems like to me Brad Stevens would be able to make that segue pretty easily. Right? Chapel Hill and Oates. Why did I know you would make a Hall and Oates reference immediately, Wayne? Now, you said Poison opens for no one. What if Poison opened for Olivia Newton-John on the Xanadu tour? You would accept that, wouldn't you? You would accept that. Oh, I know Scott Whalen's no longer with us, but boy, how about Poison opening up for STP? Now, come on. Is anyone hearing the roof activity? Are we good? Nobody has said anything, so that's good. I got like 20 dudes on my roof right now. Byington is a UNC grad by way of Wilmington. Yeah, in a state system. Look, I know Mark Byington well. I've interviewed him many, many times. He was at Georgia Southern, Wilmington, and now, where he is at Vandy. He's a great guy. I don't think North Carolina fires Hubert Davis unless they have a huge, huge name that they feel like they can reel in. Does that make sense? Do I think he would do well there? Sure. He's done well everywhere he's gone, Mark Byington. JMU, you name it. He's won. He's a hell of a coach. Do I think that's a jump? He's in the SEC now. Would he want to make it? Sure, maybe. We don't know. And we don't know people's personal intentions. That's why I'm glad David brought that up. We do that a lot. Not me and you here on this show. We know better. But people who cover sports, what they do when they cover things or when they write about things, they insert their own opinions about how they would feel if they were offered the job, as opposed to looking at, and this is one of the many things why journalism is basically dead and access media is the worst thing on the planet. Nobody takes the time to get things correct or to look at things from all sides. It's all about agenda. And I think a lot of times people think, well, how could he turn down that job? Well, maybe he likes where he is. This goes back to the whole Ricky Ronnie discussion. Remember when people were just assuming if James Franklin came calling, Ricky Ronnie would leave what he'd built at Old Dominion to be the offensive coordinator at Tech? Because why would he turn down James Franklin? Why would he? Because he moved Old Dominion football into Division I. He's put a lot of work and sweat into that. And, of course, he signed an extension. And in his mind, he's beaten Virginia Tech, what, twice? 3 times? Clearly, who had the better talent on the field last year? He lost a lot of that talent. But what I'm saying is, in his mind, he's probably thinking, well, I'm in a pretty good spot here. You got a bump. So you just don't know. You don't know what people are going to feel like going into it. Exactly. UNC can just about get anybody they want. And if you're a college coach anywhere else other than maybe Duke or Kentucky, you used to be able to say Kansas and UCLA, they've kind of fallen down. But you might have to actually say North Carolina is the biggest of all the blue bloods. It is the marquee blue blood. I think that's safe to say. So, yeah, you're in North Carolina. This is like, Alabama football. New York Yankees manager. Go get anybody you want. Go get anybody you want. I mean, you're North freaking Carolina. You're not going to settle for anyone. They did because they wanted to keep it in the family, but they're not going to this time. I should have asked David that specific. None of the names he mentioned were in the family, so I think that tells us his opinion about that. Byington is a winner. Hell of a coach. And you know what? He's a really nice guy. Really nice guy. How about Dave Matthews? I'm going down to Carolina. I'm going to coach some basketball. That's Dave Matthews at his North Carolina introductory presser. God. How could someone so untalented make so much money? The attorney Ryan Pry, Kansas will be open too. Yeah, might be right. Bill Self, that could happen. He might decide to go ahead and pack it up. Did you see him kick the scorer's table when they lost that game at the end? I don't blame him. Yeah, I don't blame him. But, yeah, UNC for sure, number one blue blood. Yeah, I'm with you on that, 100%. I mean, Michael Jordan. I mean, you name it, they got it. I get that it's UNC, but this is a different climate. You can do what you can do at UNC. A lot of places they won't get their first option. We'll see. We'll see, Anthony. The things that David Teel just talked about make you think a little bit, though, right? Because anybody who comes in there is going to consider all those things that he mentioned. David Teel is a very, very wise man, as is this gentleman. He is the director of athletics for the James Madison Dukes. His name's Matt Roan. What's up, Matty? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, man. How you been?
Doing good. How about you? Everybody good?
Everybody's good. Yeah, we wrapped up basketball this past weekend, and
yeah,
with full speed into spring now, and hard to believe we're come close to ending another year.
Yeah, I know. Well, congrats. The women, I think, showed very well. They got down against Kentucky. Yeah. They really battled in that second half, man. They played very hard. That's a good basketball team.
Really good team. Two good teams, right? And just kind of got overwhelmed in the very beginning. We weren't hitting shots. They were. We weren't forcing turnovers. They were. And you kind of look up and all of a sudden you're down by a lot. But what I was incredibly proud of is how we fought back, resilient, and ended up making it very respectable at the end of the game. But yeah, Kentucky's a great team. Obviously went ahead and 2 days later beat WVU to win that sub-regional, and they could make some noise in a regional.
Man, you've had a pretty good year, haven't
you? we've had a pretty good run, and obviously you kind of try to compartmentalize, and I told our staff this just the other day that we had a good fall, obviously with a volleyball regular season championship. The CFP was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And then to have what we've had with women's basketball. So it's important for us to finish strong this spring. And hopefully we'll look back and have had a pretty good year.
Well, and I know you loving football as much as you do. Coach Napier, spring ball is here, man. How's everything unfolding? I know you talk with him daily. The excitement around that program coming off the season you had, and now with this new staff, how is that meshing? It's similar here in Blacksburg. It's similar in other places. How are things going with the transition?
Yeah, time will tell, but it certainly feels like we haven't missed a beat. He came in. I've said a million times, right? The advantage that we had was, and I think Bob even had, right, the runway that he had to get ready for UCLA. Was made better because Billy was here for 2 or 3 weeks during that CFP transition and can tell him about his experience at Florida, right? How and what he should expect. And then obviously having 2 or 3 weeks together, Billy was able to come in and piece by piece, he's building out his staff. Obviously we wanted them to be at practice. So they were evaluating our previous roster. Bob was asking him, or Bob was telling him, like, hey, here's how we prioritize what we look for in recruiting. And this is really kind of what works at JMU. And so by January 2nd, when that portal window opened, there was a lot of institutional knowledge, right? Of program knowledge of kind of what makes this thing tick and how the standard remains the same. And so I think we recruited at a very high level. A lot of new, but we're able to retain people who, again, care about this place, understand the expectations. And so you have a great staff that he was able to build. I think a great roster that he's put together. We've had the off season that we've had where I think people are getting after it. They're getting faster, bigger, stronger. And then, we'll start spring ball next week and go for several weeks. And then it'll culminate with a spring game on the 25th of April. And we're going to blink and we're going to be there. And then
I know.
you're a summer workout away from, kicking the ball off in the stadium next fall. And we've got a good schedule ahead of us. We've got to catch a break, got to stay healthy, but we have those championship expectations because, again, our fan base, our resources dictate that we have just that. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I can only imagine the brand recognition. I bet you Coach Napier had guys he was hearing from before he even got out there on the trail. Like, wow, we want to be at JMU. What's going on there? I mean, what that brand means now is not the same thing as 3 to 5 years ago. Now, I mean, JMU is a destination for many, many recruits.
He, one of the things that we do, Rick, and we recruit Division III players, right? We recruit D2 players, we recruit FCS players, we recruit G5 players, and I'll kind of compartmentalize all of those guys, and then I'll you do get some P4 guys or A4 guys that kick back and maybe haven't played as much as they want in the ACC or the SEC or the Big 10 or Big 12, and they want an opportunity. And I think we've positioned ourselves well where we're going to be in the mix for all of those guys, right? If they want to play in the group of 6, it's the best of the best from the Sun Belt and the American and the Mountain West and the MAC and now the Pac-12, that Conference USA, that we've put ourselves in that elite piece of company. But when I talk about the other guys, one of the things that we talk about is we want a bunch of guys that have gratitude for being at JMU, right? That they think JMU is doing them a favor as opposed to them doing JMU a favor being here. So we've really, really embraced that. But I think with all of those groups, Billy did a podcast on Sunday night, and I've heard him say this previously, that as he was talking to members of Curt Cignetti's staff, as he talked to members of Bob's staff, I think going all the way back to Mike Houston, really the number one resource that we have is, he says, game day, right? And what he means by that is, when G5 players come into the stadium, whether they're playing us in the league or playing us in a non-conference, and they see what it's like with a sellout crowd and streamers flying everywhere, and it's loud, and at times it's cold, they want to be a part of that, right? So when they go in the portal, if they're not chasing something that's maybe false, I think we are the best bet for a lot of those places. And our brand is stronger probably than it's ever been. When you come here, you have a chance to compete for championships, and we've proven now you have a chance to compete for that 12-team field.
That's exactly right. I was just curious, thinking about, Billy and the things he experienced at Florida, and, Todd Grantham, who, of course, another legacy for our mighty Cougars, and he's still doing it now at UAB, talked about Florida as being such a unique environment. And I can only imagine what Billy Neighbor walked into, where he was coming from, into that place. It had to prepare him for anything that he was going to do next. Because the expectation there, and that place is lit from the time that you decide to sign your name on the contract, right?
Yeah, he, I will tell you, and it's the thing that I've appreciated the most. I told this story. I'll come back to a story that I told somebody the other day, but I went and saw him in Gainesville, and you're there, and he doesn't spend a lot of time talking about Florida. I think he is proud of a lot that they accomplished. I think he recognizes that they didn't win enough to be able to, as he says, not have his team taken away from him. I recognize the uniqueness of not only coming into Florida, not only coming in and playing a schedule that they had to play the last several years, but you're also doing that while you're heavily involved in raising money for NIL there. You're heavily involved in, almost single-handedly building a collective together with the group of donors, right? So you're building the plane as you're flying it in a lot of ways there. And when those things aren't in place, that's a challenge. When the ecosystem where those things aren't in place is changing, daily around you as well, there's a lot of reasons. He'll say, well, those just sound like excuses, but I'll say there's a lot of reasons that I don't think that he had the success that he wanted to have there and was capable of having there. But, it's not lost on us what he was able to do at Louisiana during 4 years, right? The success that they had over 4 years mimics the success that we've had over the past 4 years here. And so I believe, I'm incredibly confident that, we can capture that again. But going back to the story that I told somebody, look, it's easy, and I think it tells you a lot about a person. You get let go at Florida. Human nature, right, is to be a little bit bitter. The day that I see him and Allie in their home and their 3 kids are there, the kids are still wearing Florida football T-shirts, right? And so to me, that spoke to ownership, that spoke to maturity, that spoke to just the quality of person that he is, that he understands what was expected of him. He understands that Florida made a decision, and I think he is now understanding that he is a good coach, that we saw that potential in him, and I think he's happy. We're happy that he's here, that the road led here.
Yeah, and I love that too, because a lot of times you get this perception, he got fired there, the guy can't coach anymore. It has nothing to do with it. Most of the time it doesn't. Sometimes
absolutely,
maybe, but not in that situation. And I think he's got to have that drive back now, right? He's going to show everybody the kind of coach that he was. He just all of a sudden didn't become an unsuccessful coach.
Let's not forget, Bill Belichick was once fired from the Cleveland Browns.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And it happens from time to time.
All right, a couple that are claiming they're JMU grads. Mike and Stevie says, can you ask Matt, first of all, congratulations on everything, Matt, and basically asking the same question about how's JMU doing in the world of pay for play? How's that coming in the money? How is a program like JMU able to keep it going, to keep having success? Thanks, guys. Appreciate the question.
So it is a good question. You're always kind of allocating resources to priorities. And I would say there's probably no more important thing, historically, investing in our facilities, investing in our programs, right? What our programs had to operate with was incredibly important. Not that what I'm going to mention next wasn't important, but, we really tried to benchmark ourselves that if we were in the top half because of those other things, we were going to be successful. And I would argue that investing and recruiting and retaining great coaches, great staff, and now great student athletes, right? That is the new facility, right? That is the new thing that you have to make sure that you are at the top of the league to give yourself the best chance to be successful. And so we've understood that priority. And so we've allocated resources accordingly. Where those resources come from, it's on us, right? And again, I talk about that's why our game day environment is our number one resource. Is when people are buying tickets, when people are giving, when our businesses want to partner with us, that's let us commit those self-generated revenues that continue to grow at a pretty rapid pace to our people. And if we've got good people, I learned this at Nichols a long time ago. Good people can overcome a lack of resources. You can give bad coaches and bad staff, and I think bad players, all the money in the world, but if they're not any good, they're not going to be successful. And so it's on us to identify good players, good coaches, but it's also on us now to do our level best to give them what they need, not so much to feel appreciated, but to put yourself at the top of the league so that they do want to stay here.
Right. Well, and the environment around there, so you've talked about it, like the people are just so dedicated to it, and I think that people feel that too when they communicate with your coaches, with your staff, yourself, right? They know that everybody's got the same vision, and that adds so much, man, when everybody's communicated with and you're on the same page. It's really cool.
It does. Now, we're very, very fortunate here to have, I might have shared this on this podcast with you, before, but, everybody talks about alignment, but not everybody has alignment. And
that's right.
That's certainly true of me with our coaches, with our staff. That's me reporting to my president. But we're fortunate here to have the board that we do. I don't know if I've ever told this story, but our president shared with me that, the very first interview question that he got was, do you understand the importance of athletics to JMU? That's rare, right? That would be the thing that somebody would lead with. And by all accounts, his answer, I know it was yes, because he's proven that, right? That he's
Right.
helped give us the tools that we need to be successful, to do the things that we've talked about. Alignment is a word that's overused. It doesn't exist at all places, but it absolutely exists here.
Mac is asking, hey, can you ask Matt, is a JMU UCLA series going to happen somewhere down the line?
We have not talked specifically about that. Obviously, you talk in jest about it, but we got our field going west with Oregon last year. We'll head west to San Diego State this year for a really pretty elite G6 to G6 matchup out there. But we might let a little time pass before Chesney's Bruins and Napier's Dukes take one another on. But for us, we really do, and I know that our fans can get frustrated sometimes when they, you look at our schedule this year, and I think it's a good schedule. It's Liberty, it's Wagner, it's San Diego State, and then we play UConn in the non-conference, 2 at home and 2 on the road. We ask anybody and everybody to play.
I know.
And we ask them to play here in a home and home. We ask for 2-for-1s. We ask for, I've even asked for 3-for-1s before. We certainly ask for the opportunity to be bought occasionally, to go to their places and play, to try to improve our quality and strength of schedule. But it is a challenge to schedule. If we have opportunities and relationships that we can lean on that make those easier, i.e. UCLA, we might do that from time to time.
There you go. So the door's open. The door's
right.
open. It's ajar. Battle the initials. That'd be great. That'd be a great game. That'd be cool.
BC and BN, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, right? Why not?
And then UCLA and JMU. You're right.
Well, yeah, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be good. Do you have any communication with Coach Chesney at all? Or does he still check in from time to time, or is it just he's now focused?
No, we do. We that's. I had a long time ago, right? A mentor, kind of shared with me of, you can't really be friends with coaches because, sometimes hard decisions are going to have to be made. And there's merit in that, right? I mean, there are professional boundaries that you probably have to set with coaches, but I will tell you, working with him was a treat. Great coach, great person, great family. The last couple weeks, my oldest daughter stayed the night at his house 2 weeks ago. My youngest daughter stayed the night at his house this past weekend.
That's cool.
He was in town, and the family is about to head out to LA. They're a few months behind him, but he and I stay in touch. He was actually here. I'll tell you a funny story. He called me about a month ago and said, "Hey, I'm in town. I might try to stop in and see you, just say hello." He said, "I actually have a field trip with his youngest daughter today. And the location of the field trip is the press box at Bridgeforth Stadium." So now Bob is a good guy, as good as they come. We'll be friends for life. And I've said a million times, right? If anybody can have success at UCLA, it is certainly him. And so I'm pulling for him.
No, I love that. I love that. Were you able to help him, give him directions to the press box? Did he know where the stadium was?
He had to take a different way to get there. He couldn't go through the football offices anymore, but I think he figured it out.
No, that's really cool. That's really cool. Well, good stuff, man. It's great always to visit with you. And so now you segue into the rest of spring, and things don't necessarily calm down for a few more months, but coming out of football and everything, there's going to be a fervor there, man. And what kind of a spring game crowd and things like that? Does Coach Napier have a spring game lined up?
We do. Okay. April 25th. It's a big weekend for us on campus, right? We've got board meetings. We've got a lot of different alumni, kind of events happening on campus. Spring on a college campus, there's not much better, right? A lot of life among your students. People are coming back. Their prospective students are taking college tours. So there's a lot going on. So, we've drawn, this will now be my third, it's hard to believe, spring game that I've been associated with. The one right after I was hired last year, and last year was a little bit cooler than the year before, but obviously this year. And I think being in his first year, a lot, like I said, a lot of new on that roster, the first chance to see a lot of these players play. As you might imagine, I don't think we will stream this game, right? We don't let anybody that's not at the stadium, we don't want them to see the game and give up those advantages there. But we do expect a lot of people to come out and to get their first look at the 2026 version of this football program. And it'll be a good weekend on campus, but a lot of work. And he'll tell you this, right? A lot of work between now and April the 25th to really take that team and to mold it. And the off season, like I said, has been great. But now we have 4 or 5 weeks to really get into football and find out how physical of a team we are, how tough of a team we are, how talented we are. We have the talent, right? But talent has to execute, and talent has to be developed. And this is a great opportunity for us to do just that.
Well, absolutely. Well, give Coach our best. Keep him healthy. Make work done.
I'm not going to let you off the hook yet, because you made me a promise last month that you had an impersonation.
I did, didn't I?
To do today.
So Coach Hicks, who, by the way, liked the impersonation, so I don't ever feel bad about doing it. The last time I saw him was in the radio station studio, and we recorded a promo, and he always got a kick out of it. But, for a lot of people don't know how he sounded, right? But I go back to when it stood out to me, I was a sophomore. You know what it meant. You did as well. You make travel team as a sophomore.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a celebration. I was one of 5 players. And I remember Coach Flincham came up to me. "Hey, Pat Watson." He always called me Pat Watson after the famous offensive line coach. Come and coach coach's office after practice. I thought they were going to cut me. So I just remember the first day I was out and I was running the scout team. And it may have been, I don't know if it's for Anacostia, one of those teams we always beat the hell out of up in D.C. But I'm standing in the back of the huddle, and he's standing there. He would draw out what you're supposed to do. Here's what we want you to do to give these guys a look, because you're just a dweeb. You're a sophomore. You're not going to play. But what we need. You made the team. And I just remember looking back, and he was like, he could see the look on my face because he's going through, this is what we're going to do right here. All right. Now, what we need to do, you're the X. And he didn't know my name. I was number 56 here. You're the X. And we need you to run a banana. And he's drawing it. And I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm like, I'm a defensive player. What? And I think he saw the look on my face. He goes, "You don't know what I mean, do you, with running a banana? Well, come over here and let me show you." Right. And so then he gets me down and he's showing how I'm supposed to cut inside the guy and all that. But that's just a little brief version of the coaching.
That was good.
What do you think?
It was good. It was good. The context and the voice itself, they were spot on. I think a lot, right? And, how lucky we were to play for a guy like that, right? And that entire, for me in 99, 2000, 2001, right? To have the opportunity to have not only Coach Hicks, but a really good high school football coaching staff that they worked their butts off to make us a good team. And I think it's even more broad than that. I never for a second, right? It's the reason that I love to jump on with you is I'm proud of where I came from. I'm proud of being from there and being associated with him and that program, and just really, really special to me. And we were lucky.
No, we were very lucky. And, some of the best moments I had was the times I got to see him after that. As you're growing up, you're going through, and made the mistake once of being in his running group, because I was running at that time, boy. I thought I was in good shape. You can't run with Coach Hicks and his running group. If you do, you're in trouble. No. And he's running 20 miles a day. I'm dropping out after like the second mile. He's got this pace going. I'm like, but he was like, he came back to He always ran around Dedmon Center, and he came back and he went, "Rick, we lost you. Where did you go?" And he was laughing. I said, "Coach, come on. You know where I went. I went back to Dedmon." So, but anyway, great, man. Appreciate you as always. And, keep it rolling. I know you will. And tell Coach Napier when spring's over, we'll get him on here, man. Get both of you on here. I think that'd be fun.
We'll get on here one day. We're excited about him. But first, we got a lot to do this spring. Competitively, right? So baseball, softball, and obviously a very, very tough league in the Sun Belt. Lacrosse, trying to defend their championship. We've got a lot happening here on campus that we want to finish strong with. We got a lot of planning and preparation to make next fall even better than it was this past fall. But the joy is in the work. The joy is in the opportunity, and we're going to give it our best chance to keep this thing going.
Yeah, you'll keep it rolling, brother. I have no doubt.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll see you next
month.
Talk
to you soon. See you, buddy. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Matty. There you go. Matt Roan, Director of Athletics down at James Madison. Great stuff. Great stuff from him. All right. Thanks, everybody. Great stuff today, man. Kion Brown got us off to a great start. Damien Sordelett, Andy Bitter, Matt Roan. Just great insight. And I love that relationship. So you don't have to all of a sudden dislike your coach because he leaves. They're friends for life. I love to hear that. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But Matt's doing a great job. Yeah, great guy. I always have people in chat go, "Man, that guy. I wish we had that guy here in Blacksburg." Yeah, Matt's doing a great job, and they're going to be good. I mean, Billy Napier's a really good coach. I mean, Florida's you've heard Todd Grant talk about it. So he'll do a great job down there in Harrisonburg. Thanks, everybody. We'll have another loaded show tomorrow. We might be adjusting some of the schedule. We'll let you know. Just look for the billboard for the show later on, and we will, we'll get it done that way. Yeah, that was my Coach Hicks impersonation. Rick. I should have done when I got called for the late hit against William Fleming when I chased the quarterback. Yeah, I should have done that. That's what I'll do next time. I will. I'll do it better. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Remember, subscribe, like, and share the channel, and we'll talk to you on Thursday. Be good. Have a great rest.